so it's hard. It's not easy. I'm raising 3 girls.
A federal judge today ordered the Trump administration to keep SNAP funds flowing. Legal analyst Lori Levinson.
The Trump administration has taken the position that the money's run out and there's nothing that they can do, and that the funds that are in reserve cannot be used because this isn't really an emergency. A federal judge in Rhode Island has disagreed and ordered that the funds that might be available actually be used to continue the SNAP program, even during the government shutdown.
Linda Kenyon has administration reaction.
The head of the White House National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, says, quote, "We're about to use emergency funds from the Department of Agriculture because of a liberal judge ruling that we disagree in the law on," unquote. The Trump administration had argued contingency funding was meant for emergencies, not for government shutdowns. Hassett said if those funds are used now, they won't be available for such things as hurricanes or other events that could create a food emergency. Millions of Americans who depend upon the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program have suggested this is a food emergency.
Correspondent Ed O'Keefe on where things stand in the negotiations.
There has been no active push by this administration that we can discern by either the vice president or the president. In fact, the vice president yesterday was like, well, if anyone would like to talk to us, come on by here. The vice president has an office at the Capitol. He could go up there and find them. And there's been no sign that they have been doing that, trying to reach a potential group of moderates that would be willing to go with Republicans and try to make this happen.
FBI Director Kash Patel said today multiple people were arrested for plotting a Halloween attack in Michigan. CBS's Anna Schechter reports the 5 suspects were 16 to 20 years old.
This is a continuation of a case that was being developed since last May, where an individual was arrested for being connected to ISIS. And that case then led to other investigative lines. That's how the FBI got tipped off to this. Or this is not something that just happened in the last couple of weeks.
The UN Human Rights Office today blasted the series of U.S. attacks on alleged drug boats.
Airstrikes by the United States of America on boats in the Caribbean and in the Pacific violate international human rights law.
More than 60 people have been killed in those strikes. On Wall Street today, stocks finished higher, the Nasdaq up 143. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Mayor Harrell is stepping in to help with SNAP benefits. More on that story, but first let's say hello to Lori over there at the traffic desk.
Hello there, southbound I-5 and it says Lakewood North City limits. Collision cleared, but boy, traffic's really heavy. 518 eastbound, the off-ramp to I-5. Northbound, look out for a collision partly blocking the ramp. Southbound I-5 at 320th, the collision in the right lane. Federal Way to Tacoma now 11 minutes. Both directions of I-5 heavy between 512 and 16. Now, if you're heading from Federal Way to Seattle, it's 26 minutes. Lakewood to Tacoma, you're going to see a 3-minute delay. But Linwood to Seattle right now, 39 minutes. And Bellevue to Federal Way, are you ready for this? An hour, 21 minutes. That's about a 20-minute delay. I'm Lori, KIRO Real-Time Traffic.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Nate Connors. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell has declared a civil emergency as federal SNAP benefits are set to end tomorrow. Food assistance for more than 50,000 Seattleites will stop. According to the Seattle Times, the city will release up to $4 million each month in food assistance to food banks through the end of the year, or until SNAP benefits are restored. Alaska Airlines is bringing in an outside party to review its IT systems after 3 major incidents in just over the past 3 months. KIRO News Radio's Heather Bosch reports.
Alaska Airlines says it's bringing in Accenture, a global information technology consulting firm, to audit the airline's IT systems. This after a Microsoft Azure cloud outage knocked out the airline's online services Wednesday, causing delays. Problems at the airline's primary data center prompted it to ground its fleet for hours the week before and back in July, stranding passengers.
We spent more time waiting in line to try to figure out our canceled flight than it took to fly from China to Seattle.
Heather Bosch, KIRO News Radio.
Facing a $4.7 million deficit, the King County Regional Homelessness Authority is cutting cutting its workforce by 22%. CEO Dr. Kelly Kinnison says the agency will eliminate 26 positions, 11 filled and 15 vacant.
The employees that will be leaving us were sort of the very nice to have and important roles, but not provider-facing roles.
The shortfall is tied in part to the end of pandemic-era funding. Renton police say a teenager is facing serious charges after a SWAT raid. The 15-year-old was arrested Wednesday on an Auburn police warrant. During a search of his home, officers found a ghost gun hidden in the toilet. It had a 30-round magazine attached. Detectives expect to add charges for unlawful firearm possession and having a ghost gun. They're also looking into other suspects. The Valley SWAT team carried out the arrest, which handles high-risk cases across South King County. And now your weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Well, rain is picking up across the region. All of us will start getting drenched here in the next couple hours with up to a half inch of rain around the Sound this evening up till midnight. Right now we have light rain, 55 in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Trick or treat! Trick or treat? What kind of a chump do you take me for?
There you go.
Now you kids get out of here and let me alone, will you? Let me get my rest.
It's trick or treat, so you're supposed to give us some free candy, maybe even money.
Well, I'll give you a punch in the mouth, that's what I'll give you. Now you delinquents get out of here.
What do we do?
Now get out of here.
Hey, it's Halloween, everybody. All right. Well, that one right there. Yeah. Delinquent. Punch in the mouth to the kids. I like the fact that they hung in there.
Come on, man.
It's trick or treat.
Supposed to give us something.
When did they used to get money for trick-or-treating?
That was UNICEF, trick-or-treat for UNICEF. You'd have a little orange box, and you'd shake that in front of the old lady, and then she'd give you some pennies.
Got it, okay.
Is that gone? You don't remember any of that?
Whenever I did, I never had a money part of it.
Let me put on my Halloween costume I just found somewhere on the floor.
They don't even make pennies anymore.
Where did this thing come from?
I don't know.
Whose is this?
The ground, it looks like.
It doesn't smell weird. It's all weird.
All right.
There we go. Gotta get it All right. Happy Halloween, everybody. Drenching all of us with big rain. That is the worst. Boy, that rain on Halloween just, ugh. Bag gets wet. Your stuff falls out of the bottom. You get the costumes looks like crap.
Was that common in Philadelphia?
And we'd always sort of luck out on the rain days. Yeah, it's pretty classic for around here. It says at the top of this paper, news. Is that right?
Allegedly.
I do not know.
Shush, Tatey. Do people take me seriously with this thing up? Good. All right. I was thinking. People are like, wow, how does somebody have a job and then not get a paycheck in 1 week and then have to stand in line for food? I have the answers.
Aha.
Oh, that's a tease.
Thank you, Cassie, old lady. Wow. Plus, it was this day in history. Is this the day he died?
Yes.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. There's a tease. Somebody died on this day.
Oh, that's...
Oh, no. Somebody light a match in here. Plus, let's see. I didn't even. I so much don't want to talk about this story. I didn't bother reading any of it.
That's not unusual.
That's not true. 6'7", the whole story of 6'7", why kids say it, and then people are all upset, and people go to city council meetings saying, stop, these kids have to stop saying 6'7".
See, you read it.
But why they do it, I didn't dig into that part of it.
I'm curious to learn.
Look at you jumping in. Plus, the Linwood City Council. Would you vote for a person that is less than honest with what they say they've done in their life, like what school they've gone to, and where they've spent their money, and going around and speaking at high schools, making $15,000, and sort of just, fluffing up their bio when it turns out not to be true, or a guy that how many years ago did he do this?
5.
Strangled his wife and then was involved with drugs.
5, I think 5.
Okay. Those are your two candidates that are running in the Linwood City Council. We'll have one of them on. Rye stops by, talking sports with Rye. Seahawks 5-2, going up against the Commanders. Sunday Night Football. Plus, also get Rye to tell the story of his first Halloween and how difficult it was for him to get something other than what he was getting at every single house. I asked Charlie if she remembers it. Oh, yeah, I remember that well. Then I asked her if she wanted to come on. She ghosted me.
Come on, Charlie.
Well,
she doesn't like to come on.
No,
it's
it's not her thing. Besides, it's Halloween. You can ghost people.
Oh, that's right.
Plus, responding to everybody being all upset about my Ghost Boy story.
Who?
I'll tell you about that later. And then, the true cost of Obamacare. Everybody keeps talking about, tens of thousands or thousands or $2,000. You know how much it really is? The answer will shock you. And Billie Eilish. What? Eilish.
Like eyelash, but
Eilish.
ish.
Yeah, she calls out a bunch of billionaires in a room while she's getting an award. I can't wait to do that story. You knew that would get me, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
So maybe a quick little side note story. I'll stop the music for a second. My dad and his friend Tom Jones used to deliver newspapers. Tom had one section of the street. My dad had the other. And my dad liked the one section down on Bryn Mawr Avenue because there was a dog that was easily irascible. And what he would do is he'd roll up the newspaper and he would stick it through the mail slot and then bang it against the mail slot. And then the dog would run from the other side, behind the door, and run up and hit the door and grab hold of the newspaper. And my dad used to like grab the newspaper, pull it back and forth while the dog's teeth were sunk into it, and he'd pull back and forth. The dog, he'd pull on the thing, pull back and forth on it, and then let it go into the house.
Just agitate it.
I think the dog liked it, but my dad especially liked that house because he's just like delivering the newspaper. But did you ever think, Dad, like the person gets the newspaper and it's all torn up by the dog?
Oh, yeah.
But he was 10 or 11 or 7. We'll give him some sort of youth so it doesn't seem like he's irresponsible.
Could run for city council in Linwood.
Yeah, you probably could for that one. But that's the same sort of thing you've done with me with this story.
That's true.
You rolled it up like a newspaper. You stuck it through the mail slot, and then I grabbed hold of it.
It's rage bait.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, more music, a little bit more music. And then Bob Ferguson, we still didn't get to this yesterday, comes out as a crazy cat lady. And then a whole bunch of other stories as well. And the know-it-all quiz is happening. That's right. You get a chance to be on the radio. That's how everybody here has been discovered at KIRO Radio. All you got to do is send Joe one interesting thing about yourself. One interesting thing to 1-888-973-5476. 1-888-973-5476. That's right, all the cookies. Hey, thank you, Teeny. All the cookies will be coming your way. That's Bite Me Cookies, the official cookie of the John Curley Show. The 1-888-973-5476.
Right.
She got a lot to say today.
She does.
She found our candy stash. I think she's a bit sugared up right now.
All right, I'm going to take this off for a second. People take me seriously for a little bit.
Thank you.
I was thinking. So the government shuts down, and then you don't get a paycheck for a week, and then the next thing you know, you see the person in the food line. So how does that happen? So we're going to travel back in time, back to Italy, back to the 15th century, and that is the beginning where we are now trading. The Italians are trading with the Byzantine Empire. Thank you. And people like spices and cotton and fur, and then they're also exporting as well. So it's the beginning of trade. The Catholic Church doesn't necessarily like this. In 1497, they decide they're going to have a thing called Bonfire of the Vanities. Everything that they think is separating you and causing you to sin, like spices and fur and cotton, are set on fire in the middle of the town. People are like, hey, I'd say it's those are my spices burning up. And that kind of fell apart for a little while. You really had, even back in 1787, you really had no willpower against the force of commercialism. Oh, we're back to the bonfire. Smells like paprika. So this guy, Joshua Edgewood, in 1787, he knows that you like to buy stuff, so he comes up with things. Get this is 1787. And he comes up with free delivery. Buy one, get two free. Credit. Money back guarantee. This is in 1787. So you have a marketplace starting to evolve to be able to provide for you all sorts of goodies and incentives for you to buy stuff, right? So we're heading towards buying things. And he was selling primarily pottery, but it's like, really? Buy one, get one free? I mean, how many pots do you need? So then the invention of the glass window. I know you never thought about that before, but the invention of the glass window at the end of the 18th century all of a sudden has window shopping, something people had never done before. But if you're a purveyor of goods and you've got them all in the window, people would stop by, look in the window and think, ooh, what do I want to do? What do I want to buy? And then we'll flash forward to the Depression. Of course, during the Depression, 25% of the people out of work. So they did have to hoard and they weren't able to spend. And there really was nothing for anybody to buy. So that was forced savings, whatever you could possibly save. I remember my grandmother would save everything because she was part of the Depression. It was who she was because it was culturally drilled into her. So she had entire drawers full of tinfoil and anything else that could possibly be saved, rubber bands and thumbtacks, things that people would normally throw out, a whole big thing of paper clips, anything that had any kind of value was saved because that's what she knew, because that's what she had come from. So she was still in sort of that Depression era thinking. It was in 1946 that the first shopping center was opened. One shopping center. It was a suburban shopping center. And then in 14 years later, there were 4,000 of these. So immediately now you have people working, you have income, they've got time to spend, and they are spending their money rather than their time. They're shopping. And in 1956, the first credit card is invented. And now with a push from the government, we turn into a consumer-driven economy. Why? Because the government realizes if you buy stuff, they can tax it, they can make money that way. And then there'll be more jobs that'll be created because people want to buy more and more stuff. And the government incentivizes this type of thing because they realize let's move into a consumer economy because it creates more jobs. Think of capitalism like a shark. It needs to keep moving to stay alive. The same way capitalism needs to keep growing in order to stay alive. And so it does. And we borrow when we buy, and we borrow when we buy, and we keep going, and the culture moves along. And it basically says to you, you deserve this, you work hard, you deserve this, you work so hard, your life sucks, so go ahead and buy it. So instant gratification comes in, and the speed in which people end up buying things is amazing. In fact, the other part of not only you wanting to treat yourself, you want to separate yourself from the poor. I remember when we were in Vietnam doing a story for Evening Magazine, I noticed the women that are driving around on the 50cc motorcycles all have gloves that go all the way up above their elbow, almost to the top of their arm. And when I asked the guy, why is that? He said they don't want to have a tan because a tan represents working class. So even if the women were on a 50cc motorcycle and making very little money, like the soup girl that carries around a block of wood and bangs the block of wood to let everybody know that there's soup, she too has gloves all the way up to her elbow because she doesn't want anybody to know that she's not rich. So people spend money on stuff to separate themselves from the poor, from the haves and have-nots. You can have a car with tires on it that cost more than somebody makes in 6 months of their life, again, to separate themselves from the losers, the suckers, those that have to work hard. Again, the division between the poor and the rich, whether it is all an illusion, it doesn't matter because it makes you feel good. It fills the void that is in you. Because then you start to think, well, is it separating me from my authentic self? And then you can get into Jean-Pierre Sartre or Jean-Paul Sartre. Is it whether or not there is any sort of thing that makes us authentic? Are we really here for any other reason? But that, my friends, is existentialism. We don't need to get into that. So we'll go with this. We keep buying and buying and buying, consuming. The American culture creates just the constant need for something. In fact, there are 73 purchases a year. Every 5 days, somebody buys something on Amazon. It ends up being $100 a month. And the American family is broken. You don't have a mother and a father necessarily together. You're not spending time with the kids. So there's really no connection to the past generation. Grandma and grandpa might be in some home somewhere. So you don't really have the tight-knit community, which is your family. And that is the success of South Korea. South Korea was once one of the poorest countries in the world, but they had incredibly tight connections with past generations and their kids. So they saved everything they possibly could for not only their kids, but for their grandparents as well. And now South Korea is one of the richest countries in the world with the highest savings rate because they're motivated and driven by the family itself. And they save for that family. And that is part of the culture. Now, when it comes to most Americans, they dislike their job. They don't like living the fact that they have to go to work on Monday. In fact, most heart attacks occur on Monday at 8:30 in the morning. So they sort of see the future as something that's dismal and depressing. So why bother necessarily saving for it? And 77% of Americans have only $400 in savings. So here's a quick little experiment you can do. Next time you feel sort of tired, you want to take a nap on the couch, pick up your phone and get on Amazon or any other site that you want to shop on. And within 7 minutes, you'll feel great because the part of your brain says, hey, go out and find something. It stimulates into the future and it makes you feel really good. It's a 7-minute test. It's an amazing thing. And you really will all of a sudden not need to take a nap because you're going to be energized by the future of something else that can come to you with the amount of money that you really don't have in the first place because you're already spending way too much. So here's the other experiment. Next time you're going to lay down on the couch because you're tired, rather than picking up the phone, go pick up your kid. Give them a hug or take them outside and throw a ball around. Or put on some music with Spotify, which you're paying probably a little too much for, and dance with the person you love. In the kitchen, whatever it is, let it last 3 to 4 minutes. You'll feel much better. You won't you won't spend any money, but you'll be saving part of the relationship that you'll never have again. And then whatever you're going to spend the money on, put it in a jar or put it in a savings. And if it's only $5 or $10, it'll make you feel better. It'll make you feel connected to the future, not to a product that you can buy, but to a person you love. Done. Done. Questions, comments, concerns. Where's my hat?
That was deep.
Yeah, how about that? I took you all the way back to the 1490s or something. Yeah, anybody else say anything?
Money. Sheesh.
Huh? Okay.
I'm going to order a piggy bank from Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
Is this a song you put on to dance to?
Yeah.
With your kids in the kitchen?
No, don't do that. You ruined it. You see that?
That's
Put yourself on the board for ruining it.
Okay.
We haven't played that. Why do I look like a Muppet? Oh, wow. All right, Lori. What are you doing in there? Hello, Afternoon Delight. Checking traffic. Here we go.
I think the question is, what are you doing in there?
Don't worry.
518 eastbound, the off-ramp to I-5 northbound, a collision partly blocking the ramp. Southbound I-5 at 320th, we have a collision in the right lane. Seattle to Federal Way right now, an hour, 14 minutes. That's 39-minute delay. North 5 slows approaching State Route 18, southbound from 167 to 512, and then Federal Way to Seattle, 33 minutes. Tacoma to Federal Way, you've got a 7-minute delay. If you're heading into Seattle from Everett, that's 57 minutes. I'm Lori, KIRO Real-Time Traffic.
Your favorite Seahawks gear? Check. Face paint? Check. The Mike McDonald preview on KIRO Newsradio? Check.
We want to win the game.
Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald joins the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel, in the final interview before every Seahawks game. Friday mornings, the Mike McDonald preview, only on Seattle's Morning News.
I'm really proud of the work that we've done. I'm proud of the guys' spirit.
This is where the 12s hear the Hawks. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit,